Brothers and sisters of Africa, my people of Burkina Faso, and all courageous spirits who believe in freedom, justice, and dignity, today I stand before you with a voice that carries the weight of centuries and the hope of generations yet to be born. Today I address a subject that has shaped our past, threatens our present, and will define our future: the relentless hunger of powerful nations to control Africa, its land, its people, and its resources, especially our gold, our minerals, our riches buried deep in the soil of this continent. This is not a speech of fear. This is not a speech of surrender. This is a speech of awakening, an awakening of a continent that has slept too long under the shadow of exploitation. For centuries, nations far from our shores looked at Africa not as a home of proud civilizations, not as a community of rising nations, but as a treasure chest, an open vault for them to enter, take, plunder, and leave behind suffering. They took our people, our minerals, our dignity, and our future. And when they were done, they rewrote the story to make themselves the heroes and us the victims. But today, the truth speaks once more. Today, the African people are standing again. Heads high, eyes clear, hearts strong. Today, Africa refuses to bend. My message today is long because our struggle is long. It is deep because our wounds run deep. It is powerful because our spirit is powerful. Africa is witnessing a new wave of attempts, economic, political, military, and psychological, to take back what no longer belongs to them. Our gold mines, our oil, our uranium, our cobalt, our diamonds, our forests, our land, and our independence. Some nations pretend to be partners. Die eenheid harm some manifestations of the Union. Some pretend to be friends. Some pretend to be protectors. But behind these masks lies the old desire: control. Control through loans. Control through sanctions. Control through military pressure. Control through propaganda. Control through destabilization. Control through division. Control through fear. They believe Africa is still sleeping. They believe Africa is still weak. They believe Africans can still be tricked by sweet words and poisoned partnerships. But they are wrong. But they are wrong. Africa is awake. Africa is rising. We're children. Africa is united. Let us speak clearly. Whenever an African nation discovers gold, gas, copper, lithium, or rare earth minerals, suddenly we hear foreign voices talking about democracy, instability, or human rights. Yet, where were these voices when Africa was robbed for centuries? Where were these voices when our lands were stripped? Where were these voices when millions of Africans were enslaved, deported, or killed? Their silence then exposes the truth. Now, their concern is not our democracy. Their concern is not our development. Their concern is not our people. Their concern is our resources. Well, they want possession, not partnership. Control, not cooperation. Dominance, not development. Africa has the largest reserves of gold, cobalt, bauxite, manganese, rare earth elements, uranium, and fertile lands in the world. This is why they cannot leave us alone. They want our gold to build their banks. At dawn, they want our lithium to build their technology. They want our uranium to power their cities. They want our oil to run their industries. They want our land to feed their economies. But the African continent says, no more. My country, Burkina Faso, is not the largest, not the richest, and not the most powerful. But we are becoming something far more important. A symbol of resistance, a symbol of dignity, a symbol of courage, a symbol of African rebirth. The Union. When foreign powers looked at our gold mines, they saw opportunity for themselves. When we took control of those mines, they saw a threat to their system. They want to dictate how we manage our own soil, how we extract our own resources, how we use our own wealth. I say to them, Burkina Faso will never again kneel before foreign interests. Our gold belongs to the children who walk barefoot to school. Our gold belongs to the mothers who work the fields with their bare hands. Our gold belongs to the youth who dream of a future free from poverty. Our gold belongs to the elderly who deserve dignity in their final days. Our gold belongs to our soldiers who defend this land with their lives. With their lives. Our gold belongs to our people. Every single one of them. Not to foreign companies, not to foreign armies, not to foreign governments. This message is not for Burkina Faso alone. It is for every African nation from north to south, east to west. To Mali, Niger, Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria, Congo, Angola, Namibia, Tanzania, South Africa, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and all others. I say, when Africa stands divided, foreign powers feast. When Africa stands united, foreign powers flee. Unity is our greatest weapon, our greatest shield, and our greatest hope. For too long, Africa was taught to compete with itself. Our nations were pushed to mistrust one another. Our leaders were pressured to serve external interests instead of their people. Our borders, drawn by foreigners, divided families, tribes, and civilizations. But today we are reversing this history. Today Africa is becoming one voice, one heartbeat, one destiny. If they target one of us, they target all of us. If they sanction one of us, they sanction all of us. If they attack one of us, they will face all of us. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you something they fear. They fear an Africa that controls its own resources. They fear an Africa that manufactures instead of exporting raw materials. They fear an Africa that negotiates with power. They fear an Africa that educates its youth. They fear an Africa that feeds itself. They fear an Africa with strong armies. They fear an Africa with strong governments. They fear an Africa with independent leaders. They fear an Africa that stands, because when Africa stands, the world changes. But this future will not be handed to us. We must build it with our own hands, defend it with our own strength, and protect it with our own unity. Every time Africa asserts its independence, foreign pressure increases. They send warnings. And they plan a tune. The quantity meaning is swallowed. They sell you to las madkoflayin to Sabna. They send threats. Or break. They send sanctions. They send destabilization agents. They send economic weapons disguised as aid. They send diplomatic traps dressed as partnerships. They say we are too young, too strong, too radical, too independent, too African. They want to teach us how to live on our own land. They want to decide what we do with our own resources. They want to instruct us on how to govern our own people. But Africa says, we are not students in your classroom. We are not children needing your guidance. We are nations, sovereign, proud, and unyielding. Listen carefully, my people. The gold of Africa must build African roads. African roads, not foreign economies. The diamonds of Africa must build African hospitals, not foreign jewelry markets. The oil of Africa must power African industries, not foreign corporations. The cobalt of Africa must build African technology, not foreign empires. The uranium of Africa must power African cities, not foreign armies. But countries foreign Zeitving. This continent has all the wealth it needs. What we lacked until now was unity, leadership, and courage. But today we declare, Africa will rise on its own resources. Africa will rise on its own terms. Africa will rise with its own power. And now I speak directly to those nations that still believe Africa is their possession. We are not your mines. We are not your fields. We are not your experiments. We are not your backyard. We are not your resource warehouse. We are not your geopolitical chessboard. We are Africa. We are Africa, the cradle of humanity, the heart of the world, the land of kings and queens, the birthplace of civilization. If you seek partnership, we welcome you with respect. If you seek domination, you will fail. If you seek exploitation, you will be resisted. If you seek possession, you will find a continent unbreakable. To the youth of Africa, listen to me. You are the energy of this continent. You are the defenders of this land. You are the builders of the future we dream of. You are the voice rising across Africa saying enough. The foreign powers fear you more than they fear our armies. They fear your education. They fear your unity. They fear your courage. They fear your identity. They fear your refusal to accept the old world. They fear that Africa's youth no longer believes in inferiority. Youth of Africa, rise. Rise in the classrooms. Rise in the classrooms. Rise in the fields. Rise in the streets. Rise in the factories. Rise in the military. Rise in the government. Rise with knowledge. Rise with discipline. Rise with pride.
Yeah.
This continent belongs to you. Independence is not a holiday. Independence is not a flag. Independence is not a speech. Independence is controlling your own economy, managing your own resources, producing your own goods, defending your own land, educating your own people, writing your own history, honoring your own heroes, respecting your own culture. Africa will not be free until African gold serves African children. Africa will not be free until African oil powers African homes. Africa will not be free until African land feeds African families. Africa will not be free until African leadership listens only to African people. That is our mission. That is our struggle. That is our destiny. My people, they have tried everything to break Africa. Chains, colonies, wars, divisions, coups, sanctions, propaganda, treaties designed to weaken us. But we are still here. But we are still here. We endure. We resist. We rise, because the African spirit is older than empires, stronger than oppression, and deeper than suffering. Africa is not defined by pain. Africa is defined by resilience. Africa is defined by courage. Africa is defined by hope. And so today, I declare to the world, Africa will never again be possessed by foreign powers. Africa will never again be exploited for its resources. Africa will never again accept economic chains. Africa will never again bow to threats. And Africa will never again surrender its future. If the world wants Africa, it must come with respect. If the world wants partnership, it must come with equality. If the world wants cooperation, it must come with sincerity. Because Africa has risen. Africa is awake. Africa is unshakable. Our gold belongs to us. Our future belongs to us. Our destiny belongs to us. And no foreign power, no matter how mighty, will ever take that away again.